We need to talk about the complete train wreck that is the music app on Apple's CarPlay. Now, I love CarPlay in general. This is, I don't ever want to own another vehicle without it. This is a 2017 Jetta that I have currently that has the factory CarPlay. My previous Jetta 2010, I had a TDI wagon. I had an aftermarket Pioneer CarPlay unit in that, and I'm not ever going to buy another vehicle without CarPlay. Overall, it's phenomenal to have, my phone interface right on my entertainment screen in my car. But the music app is horrific. This is like 10-year-old Microsoft level stuff. I don't know what Apple's doing here, but the interface is so messy and confusing. Give me an example here. Let's go to radio. You see, first of all, I listen to alternative music in general, and you see here, for some reason, there's an alternative station, and then there's alternative radio. I don't know what the difference is between the two, and why they just kind of pop up at different times. You see, if I go to alternative here, and I'll take a look at the interface, which we're gonna talk about this interface here in a second. Okay, if I go back and then I go to alternative radio, notice the interface is now different from the other alternative radio station, primarily this star button here. I don't know why that is. Okay, what the difference is between the two. This has always confused me, and it's really annoying. But let's just go back into let's just go into the regular alternative station here. A few issues. First of all, when you're listening to radio, you cannot go back a song. You can't go to the beginning of the song, and you can't go back a song. So why even put this button here? It's slightly grayed out, and obviously it doesn't do anything. But why even have it there to confuse people? I don't understand why that's even there if that function is not available in radio. Okay, you see, even when I'm playing, it still doesn't do anything. Okay. Another annoying thing is in your little progress bar down here, it actually looks like you've got a little grabber spot, right? This little dot. Typically, that means you can grab that and go back and forth, move forward in a song or go back in a song. You cannot do that in the music app in CarPlay. So I don't know why they even have that little visual cue that's grabbable. Let me turn this way down. Be helpful. But you can see I can't do anything. I can't jump anywhere on that progress bar, which is fine. But don't give me this little visual cue that I should be able to do something with that. That makes no sense. Moving on, you've got the little I guess contextual menu down here, right? So if I want to make this song one of my favorites, I can't just hit a button on the screen. I have to hit this first, okay? And now I can hit that I love this song or that I dislike this song. I know the point of the CarPlay interface is to keep your eyes on the road and away from the screen. And Apple, I think, has done a pretty good job with that, except why give me this little pull-up menu here? Okay, now I have to do 2 steps, and I have to look, okay, what is it that I want to do here? Why can't you just give me a like and dislike button right here? Maybe that same heart icon that can be toggled. Touch it once if you like it, heart turns red. Touch it twice if you don't, heart has a slash through it. Just like this. Why do I have to go to this little pull-out menu to do that? Same thing with, you can see here, add to library, or create a station. Now this song, you see typically there's a plus button here to add a song to my library. Now it's not appearing here because I already have this song in my library, which makes sense. That's great. Let's go to another song. Okay, here this song, Driver. Now the plus appears, okay, which is fine. Now I can hit that plus and that adds the song to my library for access later. That's great, but if I go to this pull-up menu, there's add to library there as well. What's the difference between this and the plus? I don't know. Well, this gives you the option of adding the song or the album. The plus here just gives you the option, I assume, of adding just the song. Okay. Sometimes I've found that even when I have a song in my library, that plus sign still appears here, which is annoying because then I think, oh, I haven't added it to my library. I push it, the plus sign button disappears for a second, and then it comes back. So that's just kind of glitchy behavior. I don't know. I wish Apple would do something about that. It's obviously not happening right now. But again, you know, it's that confusion between, okay, the plus and then the add to library here. I would really prefer, as a driver who is kind of safety conscientious, I would much rather have these buttons along the bottom rather than have this this pop-up menu, which is really annoying. Let's go back. I want to go back to this this other alternative radio. Actually, I'm gonna request an artist just so you see how the interface changes here. I'm gonna use Surrey here. Play music by Sir Sly.
Okay, here's some Sir Sly, picked just for you.
Okay, so this is great. So now it's playing what I asked for. 30 years ago when I was listening to my mixtapes on my Walkman, it would have blown me away to be able to just say the name of any artist or song that I wanted and have it play for me immediately. I mean, this is, you know, we obviously are living in a new age and it's amazing. But again, this interface stuff is driving me crazy. So you see here, now we have another interface that's different from the one that we saw in the radio station I was listening to earlier. Now we have this star button, okay? Play more like this, play less like this. Well, to me that means, okay, I like the song, right? Well, if I click the little menu again, well, here I still have the love and dislike. I don't understand. What's the difference between the star and the love button here? That makes no sense. And why does the star only appear in some situations and not others? For example, again, when I'm listening to the radio station, there is no star button. It's just a grayed out rewind button, which again is stupid because it's non-functional. So it shouldn't be there at all. But, you know, and then, you know, again, when I click that, now I have this other menu that pops up. Now I have to make a selection. Okay. Yes, I want to play more. No, I want to play less. Okay. Meaning, you know, I like it, I don't like it, or cancel entirely. Again, I would much rather see this to be, you know, toggleable, so you could just, you know, tap it once if you like it, tap it twice if you don't. Actually, I would like to see the star disappear entirely. I don't understand the point of that. If you already have a like and dislike option, I would much rather see that like, dislike button appear here consistently throughout the interface that you can just tap. I saw this in, you know, Slacker Radio I listened to for years before Apple Music came out. And I believe that they just had a button that you could toggle for like and dislike. Or, you know, some of the apps that use a thumb up, thumbs down, you know, that's great too. This whole, the star and the heart drives me crazy. Plus the fact that you have to, you know, go into this, this pop-up menu, you know, to like or dislike a song. drives me nuts. Something else I really liked is Slacker Radio. If I would hear a song that I just did not like and did not want to hear again, I could tell it never played this song again, and it would add it to a block list. Apple Music will not do that, which drives me nuts, mainly because even though I have explicit music turned off in my settings, I still get songs with explicit lyrics in them. I don't understand why. Some are not tagged explicit, and they should be. Some are tagged explicit, and they still play, even though I have the explicit filter on, or explicit content, I guess, set to restricted in my settings. So I don't know how those slip through. It's annoying because, I'll have my family in the car, and, you get an explicit song on here, dropping the F-bomb, and it shouldn't be doing that because I have that turned off. So that's irritating, the fact that those slip through at all. But at least as a backup, it would be nice to be able to block those songs, but Apple Music, again, won't let me do that. I can tell Siri that I don't like the song, but it's still going to play again at some point, unfortunately. And I don't know why that is. I don't know if that's if that's part of the licensing the Apple has in place, that they're not allowed to block songs like some of the other services, but I really do not like that you don't have that ability. Or even just songs that you just frankly don't like. It'd be nice if those didn't show up in your song rotations. I'm trying to think of some other little glitches here. It's annoying that, and this is kind of inconsistent. You get in the car, you start it up, you push the CarPlay button, and sometimes you have to push the button before the music will start. Sometimes you don't have to push the button at all, and this might be a Volkswagen software thing, I don't know, but I know some of it has to do with the CarPlay interface, because it happened in my previous head unit, my aftermarket Pioneer deck before. The behavior was just inconsistent every time you started the car. Sometimes it would start right back up with the song you were listening to before. Sometimes you'd get that factory menu, the little factory disclaimer, with the dumb little safety warning, and then you have to hit the CarPlay button to get into CarPlay. Sometimes you would have to do that. And the amount of time that passed really seemed to have no impact. It seems sometimes I could get in my car a day later and just plug in my phone, and it would instantly start playing the song I was listening to the day before. Sometimes I'll get out of the car for 5 minutes, come back, and I have to go through the whole routine. Click the CarPlay button, choose my playlist. I can't resume. It doesn't resume from the song I was listening to before. And then, of course, there's the infamous issue that people have where it will just automatically, when you plug in your phone, it'll automatically start playing a song from your library, specifically the very first song in your library in alphabetical order, which drives everyone crazy. And so the solution to that is, of course, people are making these, like I did, making these silent song tracks. Okay, I've got 5 minutes of silence here that I had to title, give it this title so it would show up first alphabetically, so that every single time I got in my car and turned on the car, I didn't hear A-Team by Ed Sheeran. That's a song I heard every single time until I did this. Actually, now it looks like I finally I just eliminated Ed Sheeran entirely from the library because of that problem, and now I've got some others. It looks like this A-Punk would probably start playing now automatically every time. So that's annoying. I wish Apple would fix that. It's super cheesy that we have to come up with this hacky workaround to keep the same song from playing every time. But it is just so absolutely inconsistent. Let me go to... I don't know, let's go to... There are places where the menu is completely different even still. Okay, so here we have, I'm listening to a personal mix. Now you see interface is different once again. I have a shuffle button. I have a repeat button. I can rewind and I can forward. Okay, I've got the plus here, but I still have this pop-up menu. Again, irritating. It seems unnecessary to have that. Although in this particular instance, there are more buttons going on down here, so it would be kind of more difficult to cram some of that stuff in here. But again, the interface is different, depending on where I am, and not in an intuitive, sensical way, which is really frustrating. I'm trying to find an instance where can't find one. But there are instances where you click that little contextual menu, and there's like two options, literally. I mean, here I have 4 options and cancel. There are some instances where I go into this and I only have 2 options and cancel, which just seems silly. Again, to have to go to a pop-up menu to access, 1 or 2 available selections. So, you see here, of course, I can rewind, so great. It's good that button is here. I can go backwards and forwards in this type of playlist. Not sure why I can't go backwards in the radio. Well, I imagine that's part of the licensing agreement. But I'm in a playlist that Apple Music has made for me, and now I can rewind. I'm not exactly sure why that is. But anyway, just overall, it's a mess. I like all the apps in CarPlay. I think they all work great. Maps kind of drives me crazy in one way. I mean, it works really well, other than the fact that it will only show you speed limits if you are on an actual route. You can't just be driving along and see what the current speed limit is, which is frustrating. I don't know why that is. You have to actually be navigating to a specific place to see the speed limit, which, again, I probably want to know the speed limit when I'm just driving around. If I already know where I'm going and I'm not using the navigation, I'd still like to know what the speed limit is, but it doesn't put it on there. So that's annoying. But other than that, I really like how all the apps work, and how how CarPlay works in general. But just that music app, that interface inconsistency just drives me crazy. And I keep hoping with every iOS major upgrade that we'll see a revamp of this. And we see a lot of good changes in CarPlay whenever iOS is updated, but the music app is just still a mess, consistently a mess. So Apple, I don't imagine anyone from Apple will see this, but I'll keep my fingers crossed. Maybe they will. But I would sure love to see some streamlining of this interface and make it more Apple-esque, or I should say more like the Apple of the good old days in interface design, where things were intuitive and elegant and simplistic, and it's just a mess. So anyway, that's my take. Would love to know if anyone else finds any weird interface issues with Apple Music or not. You can post them in the comments if you found anything. Anyway, thanks.